What's up? What's up? Welcome to the show. Quick sound check. How do I sound? Everything sound good? Yeah? No? Yes? Maybe? I don't have any music tonight. I'm having issues now on the other side of it. Not mic issues, but speaker issues with my opening. So I'm just going to open my show, do my show, and run the hell out of here. All right, let me go back to my comments there. Hey, Jim Vanderland, what's up? Welcome to the show. Josh Russell, always there for Ray Bear, my heavyweight champion. Tanya Carpenter Evans, what's up? Welcome to the show. John Leon, always there for Raider Bear. Oscar De Leon, what's up? Welcome to the show. Bob, what's up, Bob? My guy right there, Bob Standard. Doc Raider, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Appreciate the greetings. Corinna Trujillo, always there for a Raider Bear. Pete Vasquez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Sounds good, Josh? Yeah? John, sounds good? All right, good. I'm glad to hear that. At least I can do my show. You guys can hear me and I can see you. All right. So anyway, let's get right to business. So as far as the Aaron Rodgers darkness retreat, we're getting all sorts of different reports as far as to when that actually began. Now, most people thought it began on Sunday. Some people thought it began on Monday. I had it beginning on Tuesday because I had actually seen a report of someone talking about the fact that he had been on the Pat McAfee show on Monday, and was saying that he hadn't gone on the retreat yet. And so I figured Tuesday he would start it and that would have it end this Friday. And instead, we haven't heard anything, and here it is. It's Friday and we haven't heard anything. So I don't know, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's Sunday, I'm not sure, but his little sabbatical is the darkness sabbatical, which sounds ridiculous when you really think about it. Why does it have to be a darkness sabbatical? Even if he is going to be in the dark, why do you have to tell us that part? Just tell us you're going to go off and go, meditate and think your way through your decision instead of telling us it's a darkness retreat, because that people are going to make a big deal out of that. He knows everything he says gets analyzed backwards and forwards, so just don't even say it. You tell him not a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm just not a big Aaron Rodgers fan, but if he comes here, he comes here. All right, now moving forward, I have some stuff to discuss as far as the draft. I'm really interested in. I'm really excited about. I think some really good things could come from this draft. As far as the conversation, I was doing a little sound check earlier on just Facebook. And me, sometimes when people start talking to me, I start talking to them. And my 2-minute sound check ended up being 45 minutes. So I've already been on for almost an hour. But I'm doing Iron Man podcasting tonight and going right on powering through. And I'm going to take your questions and comments, and we're going to talk about the draft, how many picks we have, so on and so forth. What I think we're going to do with them, what I think we can do with them, and a lot of things we're hearing in the news about the Raiders. So, like, for example, you're hearing a lot of news about us moving on from a lot of our offensive weapons. Now, there is some truth to that. As far as Devontae Adams, he's not going anywhere. We got a 4-year deal with him. He's locked in. Not only that, he's probably the best wide receiver in football. You're not really going to get better than that. So they're not going to mess with that. Now, will they mess with Josh Jacobs? I think they will. But at the same time, do I think they'll offer him a deal first? I do. I think they're going to offer him a deal. I think he may turn it down. But I think there's still a chance you maybe keep Josh Jacobs around because he's just such a no-brainer. You know what I mean? You want a good running back. Why would you go look for another one? The argument is that he's going to have some wear and tear on him. Well, so does Brandon, Bolden, the guy they brought in. So unless you're going to go get another young running back, i.e. Zamir White, because I don't think Zamir White's going to cut it. I think Zamir White is one of the things we should look at as why our future might be doomed. I don't want to say that, but I mean, everyone that's anyone knows that almost any pro football player will tell you that Josh McDaniels should not be a head coach. He should not be in charge, and he should not be making decisions as a head coach would do because he doesn't have it. Now, when I say that, I'm trying to explain what's wrong with him. He doesn't have it. Now, what does that mean? It means he understands the job. But most of us understand you can be the captain of a ship, but will men and women respect you? See, that's the thing. You can know everything. You can know all the ins and outs of being a captain of a ship. But if men and women don't respect you, they won't follow you. And it doesn't matter if you have that title of captain. It won't matter. No one will follow you. And so I'm worried about that. The fact that Josh McDaniels, to me, is not a leader of men. And he has shown to be a poor choice as a head coach thus far in his career. Now, is this a fresh start with the Raiders? Yes. Should we hold his previous resume against him? I'm kind of against doing that. I don't know how many of you are watching me that have had a job and then moved on to another job, but weren't you better at the next job than you were at the last? If you have a career now, whatever that career may be, whatever job you had before that, aren't you a better employee now than you were then? Most of us usually we get better when we move on to our next job. And so I think there's a chance that with the experience Josh McDaniels has developed, he could be good, but he probably won't. I'm sorry. Raiders! I had to throw in a Raiders there for you guys because how much I love you, but because I know I hate throwing just shade and bad news at you, but you know. Teddy Furnish, what's up? Welcome to the show. Raiders. Appreciate the love. The sound is much better. Did you use the hammer? No, Doc Raider. I did not. I used the little Italian redhead. Raider Aram. What's up, Raider Bear? What's up with you, Raider Aram? I'm bowling in my match club this weekend. Nice, Bob. I got to get back to bowling. I missed that. Jimmy Mata, welcome to the show, brother. I did. I got the Henry rugs. Awesome. It was pretty cool. You know, Jimmy Mata, I'm going to kind of stay on the fence as far as Jimmy Garoppolo is concerned, only because of this. I'm with you. I do not want Jimmy Garoppolo, but I'm on the fence in the sense of this. He won while he was a Niner. He won a lot more than he lost while he was a Niner. And he knows this offense. He learned a different offense when he went to the Niners and was still successful. That shows ingenuity and the ability to adapt and change. That's a rare quality in quarterbacks. Did I just make an argument for Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. But Jimmy Garoppolo is injury prone, so I get it. I think that he makes mistakes. I get it. He does throw interceptions that are, just usually they're pretty stupid. They don't usually have to do with bad throws as much as they're bad decision. But having said that, he's good in this offense. He's been good with that coach. I would bring him in if he's available and you can get him cheap. If you don't get Aaron Rodgers or you can't get Jacoby Brissett or you can't get – just go down this list of quarterbacks. If you can't get Ryan Tannehill, if you can't get blah, blah, blah. But no, seriously, he probably would be good for us. But if you told me that we were only renting Jimmy G for 6 weeks because we're preparing him to win for us for 6 weeks and then we would bring in the young kid, whoever that may be, then I would be interested. Because you've got to start winning with your young kid as soon as you can. The idea of grooming a young player has been lost. You just throw them out there. The old adage to teach a kid how to swim, you can't do that on the sidewalk. You got to throw them in the water. Now, not literally throw them in. I mean, I'm not trying to say abuse kids here or anything. I'm just saying when you're teaching a kid how to swim, you got to get them in the water. They've got to get over that fear of the water and then start to learn. You can't bring in a young quarterback and say, here's 3 years to learn, kid. Now we just saw what happened in Green Bay. They had Aaron Rodgers. Okay, the guy is a potential Super Bowl winner. He already had one Super Bowl, but he's a potential Super Bowl winner moving forward. Now you drafted a quarterback 2-3 years ago in Jordan Luck. I'm talking about Green Bay. Now, when Green Bay got Jordan Luck, that put a clock on Aaron Rodgers' career. because they've got to get Jordan Love on the field. They're paying him high draft pick money to sit on the bench and learn. Learn what? He might learn the offense, but he's only going to take a season, maybe a half, to learn that. Then you throw him out there. But instead, they kept running Aaron Rodgers out there because he kept winning. Won MVPs, winning double-digit games. So now you have a problem because you're paying the kid a lot of money. You don't know if he's the future. And you can't wait until Aaron Rodgers is the past. Well, too late. They waited that long. So now they're finally going to let Aaron Rodgers go, but they only have a year to find out if Jordan Love is any good. And to me, I would argue that's not enough time. That's not enough time. You got to have play time. No matter how much he may have learned sitting on the bench, you got to have play time. You got to have time on the field. He's got to swim. And so they need to know what he's got. So they're moving on Aaron Rodgers. Now, if we pick him up, I see 2 to 3 year run with us winning. I do. The guy's got a gifted arm, guys. You got to get over how you feel about him. The guy's got a gifted arm. He's a veteran. He won a Super Bowl. He knows how to finish. I'm not saying I want him, but I want him. Greg Lloyd, what's up? Welcome to the show. Erman Jr., what's up? Welcome to the show. I've told you my opinion of Jimmy Garoppolo before. Any scrub can hand the ball off. You know, Jim, welcome to the show. And I got to tell you, I think he's better than that. I do. I think he's better than that. You don't win as many games as he won with the Niners if you're a scrub that's handing off the ball. You know what I mean? I know they did have a game where he actually only threw 6 passes. And that was embarrassing to Jimmy Garoppolo. In my opinion, Shanahan had made it clear that he'd lost all confidence in Jimmy Garoppolo, which I could completely understand because Jimmy Garoppolo had a guy wide open to win the Super Bowl and he missed him. Otherwise, Patrick Mahomes would only have 1 Super Bowl instead of 2. And maybe he doesn't have the confidence to reach the second one had the Niners beat him in the first one. But anyway, long story short, Jimmy Garoppolo knows that offense. He can play. If we end up with him, I'm not going to cry about it. You know what I mean? I just would be upset at the fact that we'd have a guy that's pretty injury prone. But if we pick up Skoronski, the huge offensive tackle from Northwestern, then maybe we have something because you can keep Jimmy Garoppolo safe. If you keep him on his feet and you don't let people hit him and bang him up, guys, we have to be honest. He does find guys. He does have a good arm. He is accurate. I mean, he can't throw the bomb, but he does have a good arm. He's accurate. You know what I mean? I don't want him. But if it happens, it happens. I want to make it clear. Whatever we get, we're just going to have to hold on tight and ride this roller coaster because none of us think that that Josh McDaniels is going to win for us. Do you really think that? I don't. I don't think Josh McDaniels is going to be a proven winning coach. I think he's going to be another Raider coach that we cycle through and get rid of when we eventually have enough cap space money-wise for Mark Davis to pay him and fire him at the same time, which probably won't be for like 3 years. So we're going to have to deal with the next 3 years, and I don't see us winning with Josh McDaniels. I just don't. I don't think he's a smart enough coach. I think he could draft the right people. I think he could get enough talent and still screw it up with his poor play calling and poor decision-making. That's just me. Did the Packers make a mistake in keeping Love on the bench too long? Bob, yes. Yes, that's exactly the point is yes. And we would be on the clock in that way. If we bring in a young quarterback, you want an Aaron Rodgers because that way you can get rid of Aaron Rodgers in a year or 2 max, and then you bring out the young guy. Look at the situation in Pittsburgh with the Steelers. Do you really think Kenny Pickett's out there solely because of how he looked in camp and all that? No. They have to know if Kenny Pickett's the real deal because he's a high draft pick, okay, which means that they're getting him cheap now under the rookie rules of the NFL. But after he gets to that 3rd or 4th year, you got to give that quarterback the bag because all starting quarterbacks that win get the bag. So once he gets to that point, do you know who he is? And do you know whether you want to move on from him or not? You can't if he hasn't played. So they've got Kenny Pickett out there playing because they want to know what he is. Is Jimmy G really injury prone, or is Shanahan somehow getting his quarterbacks hurt? 4 quarterbacks out with season-ending injuries in one season, worth looking into. Rose Ortega, welcome to the show. Class and grace comes to Raider Bear Live one more time. You know, honestly, Rose, I've been saying that. If you go back a couple shows, I made it very clear that when Brock Purdy got hit and got hurt on that very play, if you look at what the Niners did, they designed it to block this linebacker defensive end, Riddick, that plays with the Eagles, who is a monster, tough, hard, rough guy. And they tried to block him with a tight end wide receiver. You know what I mean? It was outrageous. And you can't bring a guy who's not good at what he does necessarily. You know, you want a real lineman or a fullback blocking that guy. You can't have a wide receiver or a tight end, especially on your own side of the field and all that stuff. And so it was a poor play design. And I said it, Rose, I'll go even further than you are. I told Niner Beto that the moment he signed Shanahan to be their coach, that they would win nothing. And you could see it with Shanahan when he was with the Falcons and he was running the offense against the Patriots at the time. And he has a 28-3 lead and loses with a 28-3 lead because he continued to force the ball throwing it instead of running the ball when he had a good running back, a very good running back, who happened to be playing well that day. And Shanahan kept throwing the ball, stopping the clock, and thus giving the Patriots, in effect, timeouts that they didn't have to use their own true timeouts because Shanahan kept throwing the ball and then getting to 4th and long and having to punt. It was outrageous. It was one of the most obvious strategic mistakes you could ever make. Run the ball. You have the lead. And still they kept trying to throw the ball. I've said it about Shanahan 1,000 times. He tries to force square pegs into round holes. You know what I mean? And insists it'll work eventually. Raider fan, appreciate that. Good evening back to you. James Walker, family in the house. Hi, Princetta. Adam Romero, what's up? He says, so true. Appreciate that. Jim, my point about Jimmy G is the year the Niners went to the Super Bowl, they ran 87% of the time. I checked the stats. You know, Jim, welcome to the show. Jimmy G, in my opinion, would have been a detriment to the Niners had they thrown more. So I'm not arguing with you. I'm not saying the guy's a great quarterback. I'm not. And remember, he was playing outside of his normal offense, which he had struggles with Shanahan, and thus Shanahan leaned more on his running game. So much so that he had Deebo Samuels, a wide receiver, playing running back. You know what I mean? He wanted to not throw the ball that much. Devontae Mays says, bruh, we stupid let Carr go and keep Josh. Carr's already gone, Devontae Mays. And whether we keep Josh or not, I just feel like McDaniels is the type of coach that he does not like to pay running backs. And he sees Josh Jacobs as a running back that you've already used the years on him where he has his greatest value. See, NFL owners and coaches want the value of your first 4 years. After that, you get the bag. After that, they don't want you. They want you to be someone else's headache. So now someone else is going to give him the bag, paying him for yards he's already accumulated. But can he continue to do that in his elderly years when he gets the bag? I.e., see Ezekiel Elliott of Dallas. Ezekiel Elliott of Dallas has a start to his career, looks really good, banging guys, has decent speed. Fast forward, he gets the bag, slows down, starts to suck, and there you have it. Now Dallas has to get rid of him, and in effect, they're taking a loss. Well, Doc Raider, I can't argue with that. But what I can say is that some of the adjustments that you make to bad calls, Derek Carr couldn't make. I think Aaron Rodgers can. He can throw more unscheduled throws than other quarterbacks can. Now, the term unscheduled throws just basically means if your plan is to throw to guy number 1, That's what's scheduled. So now in the pocket, when I'm calling the play, we know I'm trying to go to number one, Davante Adams. So if I throw to someone else, that's an unscheduled throw. So now, obviously, it's also just called looking through your progressions. But when it comes to a broken play and guys are moving all over the place, Aaron Rodgers is going to make that play. And again, I'm not trying to gaslight everyone. I am not a big Aaron Rodgers supporter. I just know what I see when I see it. The guy can play football. God, why is this hat so tight tonight? Is my head getting bigger? I think my ego's getting bigger. Louis Hallwin, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. You know, Louis, if we get a young quarterback, he's probably going to struggle learning McDaniel's complicated offense. And that's what Josh McDaniels is worried about. Now, if we're going to have any success at all with McDaniels, it's going to take us winning with McDaniels. If we're going to have any success with McDaniels at all, he's got to win. Because if he doesn't win, we're going to have a long winter here. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to then move his guys out and bring in other guys for the new coach, whoever it is, and blah, 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 blah. Shanahan might be dumber than McDaniels and hard to do. Doc Rader, you know, there are people that call Shanahan a genius. All these different football people think he's a genius. But what they don't understand is he's a genius at designing plays, but he's a genius at designing offense. But I don't believe he's a head coach. I just don't. I don't believe he's a head coach. And we're seeing more and more that this idea that making offensive coordinators head coaches, that's the hot new thing right now. We've seen it since back with Kingsbury, with the Cardinals. Oh, God, it feels like my head's going to explode with that on. All right. Jeez. I love that hat, but I think I haven't worn it in a while, so I think it like shrunk or something. Yeah. Right off the air. Sorry about that. Okay, Rose Ortega, great comment. I want to read that. You're right. I'm no Niner fan. Don't get me wrong, but that was a very poor play design. Purdy should not have gotten hurt. Who throws the ball over and over when it's not working? Yeah, Rose. But again, Shanahan is going to make the offense win the way he wants to win. I joked with Mama Bear one time, and she said, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "Mama Bear, the Niners aren't happy winning." Winning's not good enough. They have to win a certain way. They have to win the Shanahan way. And if they don't win Shanahan's way, even if they win, they have to win Shanahan's way. He wants to win with his quarterback dominating, the offense, or dominating the defense with his offense. He doesn't want to run the ball the way he does. He's just doing it because that's what he has in front of him. But he wants, like that other kid, Trey Lance. He wanted Trey Lance to pan out as this RPO quarterback. And he's never going to be that. And we're looking at having the exact same problems if we bring in an Anthony Richardson. There's just too lack of experience there. And asking him to learn at this level is too much. Ted Thane, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. How are you, my brother? If we do sign a veteran quarterback, do you see them drafting a quarterback in the first? Yes, or even the second to steady behind them? I think it's one or the other. Veteran wide receivers, veteran with Stidham backing up a rookie quarterback. Ted Thane, welcome to the show. Great profile picture, brother. I love that. Now, I would say this to you. Don't our wives make us look good? I would say this to you, brother. I think that they may even go deeper than the second round. See, what's the best way to have a rookie quarterback sit? You justify it by bringing him in late. See, like the kid Gabbers that we have right now from Cal Berkeley that's sitting on our bench, that was our third string wide receiver. He's perfect. You know what I mean? He's perfect. If you brought him in the draft right now, you could justify, hey, we're going to keep him for 2-3 years on the chair and let him really learn the position. Okay. but when they're a first round pick and everyone in the fan base knows their name and all the people online know who Anthony Richardson is and all of Miami saying, play him every day, you can't have that. And that's what we would have. What's up, Val? I don't think there's going to be any middle ground with Kenny Pickett. He's either going to be a star or a bust. The jury is still out. Val, I don't agree with you. And welcome to the show to you. And hi, Tommy. I would say to you that Kenny Pickett to me looks like the real deal. He really does. I don't know if he can read defenses well enough yet, but I think that he'll get better at that. And what he has thus far, when you guys had him in the early on script, he played really well. It wasn't usually until second halves of games where he had problems. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be real nice for you guys. And to be honest with you, I liked him watching him out of school. I hoped we'd look at him. Matt Marinovich, welcome to the show. And I would say to you, you're correct. Let me read your comment. Rodgers is the only quarterback that will keep McDaniel's job, or at least a veteran quarterback that knows the system. Completely agree. Nathan Matthews. So does McDaniel's system better suit a pocket quarterback or a scramble one? Wasn't the new hire Lombardi with Lamar at Louisville? Tom did very well in the system, and he was a pocket guy. So confused about some of the new hires. Nathan Matthews, that's a great comment. Welcome to the show. I was actually talking about it on another show earlier. When Josh McDaniels got his very first shot to coach a team with the Broncos and he was in charge, he chose Tim Tebow, who in effect is a physical running / throwing off schedule quarterback. And so is Lamar Jackson. And yes, they did bring in Lamar Jackson's coordinator. But I think that was to potentially make a move at Lamar Jackson, just like they were trying to make a move initially at Tom Brady by bringing in Josh McDaniels, which was Mark Davis's move. Now, having said that, what does he prefer? That's hard to say, Nathan, because I would say to you he prefers a running quarterback and was forced to work with Tom because Tom was on the roster. But had they had Josh McDaniels had his choice, he probably would have had a running quarterback in that position. And I think he does. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think he does prefer the idea of a running quarterback. I think the idea of mobile quarterbacks, though, are in bloom right now. So is that really his thought process, or is that the direction the NFL is going? Because you're also hearing rumors of the Raiders in the Justin Fields trade argument. You know what I mean? That they would take Justin Fields and be able to give him, we would be able to give them, a 2 and a 3 or a 3 and a 4, something like that, and bring on Justin Fields, which, I don't know if they want to do that, but Justin Fields dropped a cryptic comment. For those who don't know, Justin Fields is the young, fast quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Now, because the Chicago Bears got the first round pick, it's looking like they're going to probably move on from that kid because he's not turning out to be the truth. So if they do, should we take a chance on him? I say, you know what I mean? I'd be lying if I said I was sure. I know people want to rag on Justin Fields about his arm, but that kind of thing can get better. His physical talents, though, they're already spectacular. So if you're looking for a run-pass quarterback, he's not a bad option. But see, the Bears giving up on him, I don't know that necessarily that's a red flag against him. In other words, usually if a team gives up on that quarterback, there's a reason for it. It's usually because they figured out he can't throw the ball or he can't read defenses or whatever the case may be. I don't know that that's the case with Justin Fields. I think they've just had enough. James Walker, it does sound like the Raider way, doesn't it? Bring in a guy, find out what he's got. Jim Vanderland says, what do you know about the offensive coordinator we brought in? All I know is that Lombardi is experienced. He understands football, but I just don't know if he's a fit for us unless we do actually bring in a running quarterback. And the Lamar Jackson rumors to me were lightweight at best. I'm thinking more that they're thinking bring him in as a guy who's worked with running quarterbacks because they're going to pick a guy like Will Levis, who's a running quarterback, or Anthony Richardson. But will they even go that high? Remember, Jaden Hayter is the quarterback for Fresno State, the alma mater of Derek Carr, ironically. And Jaden Hayter looks nice, and the Raiders did send scouts to see him. But I can actually confirm that the Raiders also sent 3 scouts to see Anthony Richardson. Whether it was just see a workout or see him play or whatever the case may be, I don't know what that was for. I don't know exactly what it was for. I just know for certain that the Raiders sent 3 scouts to, over to scout Anthony Richardson. Is he coachable? That kind of thing. Bobby Story said, I love the new format. I appreciate that, brother. Welcome to the show. Cool profile pic. Steve Marchant, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Normally, your first-round pick, no matter what position, will likely have to start the following season. Matt Marinovich, now not only do I agree with that, but there's more pressure on that than ever before when it's your quarterback. Because no matter who you draft, you're drafting a guy that becomes the face of your team. Look at the Dolphins. The moment they drafted Tua Tagovailoa, he became the face of the team instantly. You know what I mean? And now he may be out of the NFL any minute here. I don't know. I think Tom Brady did Tua Tagovailoa a service. Because if Tom Brady wanted to be a Dolphin, I guarantee you he'd be a Dolphin right now. And Tua would be out of a job or, traded. And then probably the NFL would start to push him out of the league for CTE and, concussions. I just saw that coming. It just seemed like Tua was getting railroaded. Bear, besides looking at quarterback in the draft, we should sign Josh Jacobs. He is still committed to the silver and black. Louis Hogwin, welcome to the show. I already said this, but also I'll just say it again brief because I don't know if you heard me or not. And great profile picture, brother. I love that. They don't want to pay him for what he's already done. In other words, we all want him to pay Josh Jacobs, right? Well, think about it. Why do you want him to pay Josh Jacobs? Because of everything you've already seen Josh do. That's made Josh famous. That's made him a soon-to-be Hall of Famer as a Raider, in my opinion. I think he's going to go into Hall of Fame. He's had a better pace than Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen through his first 4 years. That's insane. Okay? And so if he stays a Raider, I think that's important. But I didn't think that they would let Derek Carr go, even though I thought they should. I thought his time had run out. I didn't think it was smart to keep him on. I apologize to Derek Carr fans. It's not an insult toward Derek Carr. Just try to understand. No matter what argument you want to make about Derek Carr, whether you thought he was good, whether other people want to say he was bad, this, that, or the other, he was given 9 years. And there's a stigma on that because during that 9 years, he did not win. And during that 9 years, when he was at points where epic things can happen, like a playoff game that he reached, then he gets hurt and can't play. And we get embarrassed by the Texans. Then the next one, he goes up, he's against the Bengals and Joe Burrow, and we don't win. And we can argue whether it was about a referee call and all that stuff, but we didn't win. You know what I mean? And so he had 9 years, which is severely longer than any quarterback is normally given unless they've won. So Josh Jacobs, they're not going to want to pay him because they feel like the Raiders already got the best out of him. A running quarterback, especially in a 17-game season, has a shorter lifespan in the NFL than a pocket passer. Matt Marinovich, I have no argument with that other than this. The NFL is going back to the old style of football where the quarterback was the most athletic guy on the field. You, in effect, have running backs and wide receivers level talent playing quarterback. And they want to get back to that, where the quarterback could stretch the field with his legs more than just his arms. And for a long time, the NFL was changing the rules and making the pocket and saying, oh, the offensive line has to be this, that, and the other. And they were trying to get everyone to play in the pocket. And there's an argument for it. I mean, if you look at how many Super Bowls have been won by pocket passers, it's pretty much all of them. You know what I mean? There's only a handful of guys that ran with the ball that actually won a ring. Now, Steve Young was known to be a run-pass option, California offense. He could run the ball, and he could run with the ball well. And so that guy did it. You can survive in this day and age. You just have to be smart. Matt Marinovich, Bob Standard, what we would have to give up for Justin Fields wouldn't be as much as you'd think, because he's hinting the Bears are looking like they may need to make the move. So the Bears would be in a prime position if they trade down with the Colts or us, because that keeps them still viable in the top 10 to make a move at quarterback if they want to themselves. I would argue that there's probably 5, maybe 7 quarterbacks in this draft that are legit, and I mean legit in the sense that some of them may pan out. Obviously most of them usually don't, you know what I mean? But I think some of them could. I think Hendon Hooker, the kid he had the torn ACL, I think that he has a chance to be good, because owners, teams, and coaches are shying away from Hendon Hooker because he tore his Achilles. But I would argue, why does it matter if he tore his Achilles when he plays quarterback? I mean, even if he runs, he's only going to be running sometimes. The majority of the time, he's just going to be standing behind the pocket, throwing the rock. So I don't know why you'd worry about him re-aggravating his Achilles as a quarterback. You know what I mean? Maybe if he was a wide receiver, where every down he's bolting and cutting and making all these moves on that Achilles, okay, then I'd think about it. You know what I mean? Like the Achilles issue we have with Zamir White. Zamir White had Achilles issues in both legs, and they drafted him anyway. See, to me, that's a sign of a bad coach. I don't care what Zamir looks like on video. Why would you bring in a guy that's already had 2 ACLs in college? You know what I mean? It just makes no sense to me. Steve Marchant, we were talking about Jimmy G earlier. That's a beautiful profile picture, brother. Congratulations. Beautiful, baby. But I would say to you, brother, that what about Jimmy G? I'd say this. Jimmy G just gets hurt, and he gets hurt with non-contact plays. That's a problem. When you start to get hurt on non-contact plays, it's a sign that you're getting older, brittle, or both. All right, let me click here. Have you heard anything about a number 2 wide receiver or another pass rusher for the defense? Breeze Raiders Nation, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Great profile picture. I would say this to you. What I've heard is that they want to make a play in this draft. This is what I've heard. Okay. So everyone keeps asking me what I think they're going to do or who they should get and stuff like that. What do I think of this player? I'm going to tell you exactly right now what I think they're going to do. And the reason I'm stopping the show and like getting your attention for this is because I want you to remember this, because later on in this show or tomorrow, I may say something different because I have to. It's a part of the news. You see what I'm saying? It ebbs and flows. Things change. Okay. But here's the thing. I think the Raiders honestly are going to trade down. I think there's a very high likelihood the Raiders are going to trade down. I think because even if they do find a quarterback, they're going to probably look for one that's raw, like Jaden Hayter. You see what I mean? Someone they know they can get in the 3rd or 4th round for sure, that they know will be there. Go get him. And then with the rest of your play, you go offensive line with Skoronski at 7. And then I have it right here. Round 2, you pick 38. And round 3, you pick 70. Okay, so let me show you. In this draft, we are going to have 3 picks in the top 100. You should be excited about that. We have 3 picks of the 100 best players in the league. We're going to have a shot at 3 of them. That's pretty good. I mean, you can really, really improve your team with 3 picks in the top 100. And here's why. You're always going to have a certain amount of players in every single draft that are first round quality that fall to the second. Then you're always going to have first and second round quality guys that are going to fall from the second to the third. Do you see what I'm saying? And i.e., this process continues because you have so many people in the draft. Now, when you look at it that way, that's why you saw in the Super Bowl, for example, the Chiefs with a 7th round pick running back was smashing the Eagles defense, averaging 6 yards a carry. That kid Pacheco, who everyone knows his name now because everybody was like, who's that guy running raw dog through the Eagles defense? Pacheco. I hate the Chiefs, but man, that Pacheco kid, I was impressed. and then I find out he's a 7th round pick. And so it just puts more emphasis on the argument I've always said. You can find guys in any round. Now, Breeze Raiders Nation, I want to be specific about what you asked me. Are we going to look for a number 2 wide receiver? The answer is yes. So some of our Raider Nation family is going to get upset because when we go into this draft, we're going into it with the idea of fixing a lot of pieces. They're not going to just say defense, 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 because I realize we all would rather they did that, including me. But they're going to look at offensive line. They're going to look at wide receiver, and they're going to look at quarterback at some point. And then don't be surprised if they look at tight end, because they may move on from Darren Waller and Foster Moreau. Yeah, I'm serious. You have to factor in the stupidity level of Josh McDaniels. When you think to yourself, oh, Bear, there's no way they let go of Foster Moreau. He's too good. You're underestimating the stupidity level of Josh McDaniels. And more importantly, too, you have to think of it, too. It's like pieces that you're trading with your best friend when you used to trade trading cards or whatever. When you're doing that, you're evaluating what you're willing to give up for what he's willing to give up. I think Josh McDaniels is willing to give up on guys like Foster Moreau, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, because he thinks he can replace them. I'm not saying he's right. I'm just telling you what he's thinking. Everyone needs to mentally buckle up. You need to mentally, literally buckle in, because it's going to get bumpy these next few weeks. We're going to move people, and it's going to get crazy here in a minute. Justin Fields hasn't had a time. Ted Thane, you and your woman look really good in that profile picture. I really like that. Fields hasn't had a top receiver to throw to. I might like Fields with Adams. They'd have to keep Jacobs, though. Also, I've read rumors the Chargers will have to let Keenan Allen walk to give Herbert his money. That's actually true. That's not a rumor. Would the Raiders consider Adams and Allen as a combo? Well, honestly, yes, Ted Thane. Bringing in Keenan Allen would be not only just a big move, but remember, it's fashionable, so to speak, for a rival to bring in a rival that you let go because of the information they can bring you about the Chargers. And plus, he can bring plays on the field. But Allen was struggling to stay healthy, the last 3 years of his career there with the Chargers. But I think it would be wise to bring him in, if nothing else, to know what he knows. Jim Vanderlyn said, with bringing in Lombardi, do you think McIdiot will give okay, I want everyone to keep giving me different names for McDaniels. I like that one. McIdiot will give it. It sounds like something you ordered at McDonald's. Man, let me get a double McIdiot with pickles. It'll give you play up call. Yeah. I don't know if it would be an upgrade or not. I just know that it couldn't get worse, because I don't like Josh McDaniels, and I don't like he's a poor adjustments coach. So when people say, but come on, Bear, he's an offensive coordinator and he won all those Super Bowls. Yeah, but see, he designed the offense. It was different from him having to pick the players in it and decide when those plays are run, et cetera, et cetera. And which players should be on the field for those plays, et cetera, et cetera. There were times where we used DJ Turner on 3rd and long. DJ Turner's just a guy. You know what I mean? You can't suddenly make him responsible for big plays just because he looks like he's nice. And I really like DJ Turner. But to say on 3rd and 7, get us a first down on this screenplay. And then, by the way, I don't know how many of you remember that play, but Derek Carr threw the ball on the ground. I think that him giving up the responsibilities of the play calling Jim Vanderlyn to Lombardi will definitely be an upgrade. It would definitely be an upgrade. And it would be a sign to us as Raider Nation as a sign of hope, because it would mean that he knows what his fallacies are now. I know if I go into a house and I'm just buying the house, I can talk to them about the roof, because I have experience with roofs, with applying roofs, with tearing down roofs. I have experience with that. If I want to go into a new home I'm going to buy and talk to them about the plumbing, I can do that. I have a little experience with that. Little, but I have experience with that. So if I want to know if this is pipe width is this way, or if this pipe is made out of this, and whether the garbage compactor is that, and blah, 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 I can do that. But if you bring in a guy that's supposed to be setting up my computer for me, I got nothing to say to that guy. Nothing. You know what I mean? If he's putting a pool in my backyard, go to work. You know what I mean? If he's building a deck, for my backyard, have at it. You know what I mean? If he's pouring concrete, now I'm in it. I know how to pour concrete. I know how it should be poured. I know how it should be laid. I know how much you need for the area you're pouring in, all of that. So see, I can get into that, but not everything. You have to know what you don't know and let an expert in that field do what they do. And if he gives up the reins on the offense, that would be a huge sign that he's starting to learn from some of his mistakes. Ted Thane said he's big on Hendon Hooker. I think he'd be a great pick in the 3rd or the 4th round. Ted Thane, I don't think he's going to make it that far. In other words, you hear people keep talking like that, like he's going to make it to the 3rd or the 4th round. I think that's just talk. Sooner or later, one of these teams is going to say, this guy's really good. Is he really supposed to not be in the 1st round? Here we are in the mid-2nd round, and this guy, Hendon Hooker, sitting here. You know what I mean? I could see a team like the Vikings, if they had a mid-2nd round pick and Hendon Hooker was sitting there, and sooner or later you're going to have to come off Kirk Cousins here in a year or two, I bring in Hendon Hooker right now because Kirk Cousins is a veteran, but he's a veteran that has enough years on him that if you said, hey, you know what, I'm only going to give him another year, maybe 2 tops, he's not really going to fight you over that. You know what I mean? He's going to take another contract somewhere else. I've said this before. 2 of the few running quarterbacks I liked are Russell Wilson and Steve Young. Both were still looking to throw when they scrambled, as opposed to forgetting all about the pass like most do. Doc Rader, exactly. But I'll be honest with you, it's because that takes courage. It takes true courage to stop just thinking run, but run because I don't want to get hit, but now bring up my eyes and see where I should deliver the ball still if I can. Unscheduled throws. It takes a special kind of quarterback to be able to do one or the other, and be able to do both. Most quarterbacks, they're either going to throw the ball from the pocket, or if they don't have anything and they see a lane, they're going to run for 6 yards and slide. You know what I mean? You don't want that. I want a guy that's going to run laterally, move up to that line of scrimmage slowly to where, you can only go so many yards before you can't throw the ball anymore. I want him to come up to that line slowly. And then if there's something there, deliver the ball. Mario Quintanar, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. If Stroud is gone by the time we pick, do we trade back and load up on picks? Mario, I say yes, but I think they may do that either way. And there's no way CJ Stroud falls to 7. There's been rumors of him even falling to 10. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, it's possible because some of the teams that are in the part of the top 10 to 15 don't need a quarterback. And so what they're theorizing is that no one's going to move up in the draft. I don't agree with that. I think more than 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 teams will move up in this draft into the top 15. There will be at least 3 teams that move up. We know the Colts will. That's a done deal. We know the Colts will. Now it's just a matter of how high will they go. Will they go all the way to the Bears, or will they try to make a move with someone else? Who knows? You're welcome, Ted. It's my pleasure, brother. The stupidity of Matt McDaniels is why I seriously doubt we'll have a winning season until he's gone. Doc, I can't disagree with that. Bear turning on late. Who is this new offensive coordinator, and will the play calling get better? Dustin King, welcome to the show. It's a great profile picture. I don't know if it's going to get better. I just know it can't get worse. But I do think it'll get better. I really do. I think it's going to get better. Now, the reason I think that, Dustin King, is because I think that Josh McDaniels is going to relinquish some of the play calling responsibilities to him. And Lombardi knows how to call plays. So he'll do well enough that no matter what Josh McDaniels may go into it thinking when he's watching Lombardi to see how he does, he's going to do well enough that it's going to show and justify that he deserves to be the lone offensive coordinator and not have Josh McDaniels right over his shoulder. And I think he'll do that. Now, having said that, will that improve the situation? That depends on what he gives Lombardi to work with. Michael Guerrero, that never happens. Remember McDonald's dumped McDonald's. Remember McDonald's dumped Jake Plummer and drafted Tim Tebow? Matt Marinovich, yes, and to be honest with you, that was a bad decision. It was. I don't think Tim Tebow was ever going to be a winner at the NFL level. Although he argued that he would have been if someone had trusted him. I don't know if you know this, Matt Marinovich, but if you do, just write yes or you're familiar with it or whatever. But you know how Luka Doncic plays basketball. He brings the ball up slow, he looks around, he dribbles the ball, and no matter what defense they throw at him, he immediately then knows, okay, am I going to dribble around and take a shot? Am I going to pass the ball off and get it right back? But he controls the game. He doesn't allow you to speed him up. I think Tim Tebow wanted to play football that way. Eat clock, run the ball, throw short passes, eat the clock, throw short passes, run for 5 yards, first down, and really grind teams into the ground. And to be honest with you, I kind of like it. I mean, when you hear it, described that way, grind a defense down with your running game. Then when they try to fill the box and stop your running game, you hit them with slants, corner posts, little short, quick, safe throws that keep getting the sticks moved and getting you first downs. And then every once in a while, you mix in a quarterback run left, quarterback run right. Now they don't have any idea what's coming. On any given down, you could call a quarterback run. You could call a run up the middle, delay draw. You could throw a little slant route. The defense would never know what was coming. Never. You could mix it up all day long. That's what they wanted to do with Tim Tebow originally. I happen to know that. You know what I mean? And it was talked about, and Tim Tebow's talked about it, that's how they originally wanted to use him. He was basically saying that that's what he was trying to scream all those years when Tim Tebow kept saying, if someone would just give me a chance, I can explain how we can do this. And the reason he meant explain what he meant is any football coach would have bought that. Any football coach in a minute would buy that. You're telling me you're going to bring me a running game where you're a running back and the running back, the defense doesn't know if it's you or him on any given play because you're doing run pass option. Then you're going to hit slants and move the chains with your legs. Come on in. You know what I mean? Oh, and you're one of the greatest leaders we've ever seen. I don't know how many of you know this, but he gave a speech that inspired his players when he was in school so much that the following weekend when they came back, they had a gold plaque on the wall with his speech in its entirety written on it. So the players could run by and touch it as they went out to the field. That's how much they respected that guy. He did that with his leadership. You know what I mean? If we could just get someone like that, whew, look out. Michael Purifoy, family in the house. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear. I don't know. You can see it, right? There you are. So since we had an awesome draft when we last coached the Senior Bowl, Jacobs, Crosby, Morrow, Renfro, back in 2019, do you think we will have an epic defensive draft since Patrick Graham coached and won the Senior Bowl? Well, Michael Purifoy, again, welcome to the show, brother. And the Raiders did give Patrick Graham a vote of confidence. They made it very clear that they don't feel like the way their defense performed had anything to do with him. They felt like it had to do with a product of the schedule, a product of the fact that the Raiders were still figuring out their offense, sometimes putting the defense in bad positions. So statistically, they looked bad. But more importantly, we were the worst in turnovers and sack totals. We were the worst. And so we have to get better there. And so what they're saying is that they believe that Patrick Graham can turn that around if you give him the right pieces and then allow him to be aggressive when he needs to with blitzes and things like that with the right personnel. So I'm excited that they made a commitment to that because they're basically saying, we know he can do it. We just have to give him the right pieces. So they're putting their butts on the clock because Dave, I don't mind saying this, and I actually like it. Dave Ziegler has made a point of saying it's on me. You know what I mean? It's on me. He has made a point of saying that I'm going to find the talent for this roster. So if we find more stars, if we find guys that can run this offense and can become greater players at the next level, it's going to be on me. Mid-cheaters. If Rodgers comes to the dark side, we will essentially be the OC too. He will essentially be the OC too. Yeah, Matt Marinovich, I agree. It does change those things. But Matt, here is one problem with your argument. He already has run that style of offense before. So if you bring in Aaron Rodgers, he already knows what Josh McDaniels is running. Don't ask me why I know that, because I just know it from a friend who knows it from a friend, but I can't remember exactly what the name of the offense is. I have to look it up again. I keep forgetting to do that. But I know for a fact that Aaron Rodgers knows the offensive package that Josh McDaniels is running. So he would just have to get the cadence down, and that's it, and he would understand it. Mick don't know SHIT. I like that. Dylan Snyder. Raiders! Raider Perez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Corinna Trujillo agrees. What do you think about Card's new coach and the Colts' new coach? Both came from the Eagles on offensive coordinator and also defensive coordinator. Bob, that's the first time that's happened to a Super Bowl champion in a very long time. And to be honest with you, I don't really care for it. If you watched what happened in the Super Bowl, the Eagles defense that averaged 4 sacks a game and led the league in sacks couldn't stop a nosebleed in that Super Bowl, basically gave up 4 touchdowns on 4 series by the Chiefs and got 0 sacks on the day. So, I chalk that up to this. The Eagles play in a soft division. They play Dallas, Washington, give me a break. The Giants, those teams suck. You know what I mean? Even when they got better, they sucked. You know what I mean? And so you're going to get this soft schedule. You're going to put up those big numbers. Then they show up to the Super Bowl and they can't back it up. And that's what happened to the Eagles. Raider Perez, we are back to square one. I got to agree with you. Welcome to the show, brother. Great profile picture. Go Yankees. I'm an A's fan personally, but I like the Yankees. I think everyone should like the Yankees. You know what I mean? They kind of like represent the league. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't like the Niners, but I know that they're a cornerstone franchise, like the Cowboys and the Packers and the Raiders. They're cornerstone franchises. So even when I hate them, I'm curious how they're doing and I follow them. You know what I mean? So I'm an A's fan, but I'm always curious how the Yankees are doing. So welcome to the show. Anyway, we are back to square one, but I have zero confidence in Josh McDaniels, and I don't expect any of you to have any in him either. And I expect that in the next 3 to 4 years, we're probably going to fire him because he's a poor coach, and that's going to show. Now, having said that, he's in my prayers. I want him to succeed. It's on my skin. It don't wash off. So I'm always in. I'm always in. You won't find a fan like me. I'm always in. See, because if you ever say, I see so many fans, they say, I can't take any more of this losing. What does that mean? Does that mean you can't take it anymore? You're leaving? You don't want to be a fan anymore of the Raiders? Or you're going to pick a different team? All right, go ahead. When they start losing, what are you going to do then? You want to come back? Nah, we don't do that. Oh, you want to pick another team? Oh, that's good. What the hell kind of fan are you? You know what I mean? I say it all the time. If your nephew or your niece is playing a sport and you go watch them in the stands and they lose and lose and lose, you still love them and you take them out for pizza afterward. You don't grab them by the arm and walk them out to the parking lot and say, you suck, I'm not coming to any more games, do you? I'm going to root for this other kid's team. Personally, I don't like the idea of Stroud, but when I'm biased against Ohio State quarterbacks, many have come into the NFL, but I can't think of any who were even average, though Fields is close. Doc Raider, that's an argument to make. Ohio State has had that record. But you could actually say that about almost any school. There really is no school that really just produces a factory of quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Depending on if we get Rodgers, can change our draft completely. Dylan Snyder, welcome to the show. It would only really change our draft in this sense. We have 3 top 100 first-round picks, and then even our 4th pick is 109. So you're still almost in the 100, only missing it by 9 picks. Okay, and I would argue in those 9 picks, if you had someone you're focusing on, they're probably not going to come off the board. You know what I mean? They're probably going to be there because you're in the 4th round at that point. Okay, so round 5, we have pick number 143 that we got from the Atlanta Falcons, and also pick 146. Do you notice what they did there? Pick number 143 and 146. So almost back-to-back picks in the 5th round. And again, we don't have to talk about that anymore. We know that you can find starters in any round, but especially in the 4th and 5th rounds. That's where guys from the 2nd and 3rd are falling down. Now you're getting guys that are little known talents that are going to come in and potentially become starters for you. So we could move something like our 3rd and our 2 5s and get Justin Fields like that. You know what I mean? Because he's a starting quarterback. You normally have to give up number 1s, but everyone knows what Justin Fields is. Their team's not going to be able to justify a 1st-round pick or 2 to anybody. And anyone that falls for that is a sucker. Like the Dallas Cowboys that gave us a 1st-round pick for Amari Cooper, which was so stupid. That was like stupid with stupid cheese. That was a stupid with a side of stupid on the side. But so you never know. Maybe Jerry Jones, who reaches out. I was surprised he hadn't already gotten into the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes. I thought Dallas might jump right on that. James Cunningham says it's going to be an interesting offseason for sure. James, I love that profile pic. Cool top hat. I would say to you, it's interesting. It might be pretty painful because we're going to see some guys get moved, man. I'm just crossing my fingers, dotting my I's, and praying that it isn't Max Crosby. Raider Speedy, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Raider Speedy, there is no doubt we will get down, brother. No, Bob, don't start with me about your Braves. You stole my first baseman, you crook. Glenn Medina, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. What's up, Bear? Great show tonight. Santino Carranco the third. What's up, brother? I'm the third myself, Santino. I think I probably said that to you, so you probably do. Ron Earnhardt, Ray Perkins offensive system. Charlie Weiss implemented it early in the Patriots, and McDolt has copied it. McDolt. The Ron Earnhardt, Ray Perkins offense. Now, Matt Marinich, I don't know if that's the name I heard it called. I think it was something else. It wasn't quite that long, but that's irrelevant. I'm not saying you're wrong because I don't know. You looked it up. But how far has that offensive tree gone? Charlie Weiss is a joke. He's been a joke. And if you look at most of the other guys from the coaching tree that came out from under Belichick and went on to do other things, they haven't done much. Tommy, what's up, little brother? Welcome to the show. Mwah, that's my guy right there. He said, I hate saying this, Bear, but I think that you might have just said about my Eagles might be right. Doc Raider, it is. It's not their fault. They played in a division that's just soft. So when they then fought a team that could play as hard as they were playing, it was harder for them to do the things they were used to doing. And then moreover, Andy Reid is a genius. So, Tommy, just understand, when you lose to the Chiefs, there's no harm in that. I hate the Chiefs. I'll always hate the Chiefs, but we can't deny what they are. They're the best right now. There's just no doubt about it. They're the best right now. When you win the ring, you got to show reverence. They won the ring again, 2 in 4 tries. That's not great. It's only 50%, but he's gotten 2 in 4 tries. In just 5 years of his career. That's pretty good. You know what I mean? What would we say if we had a guy that was young, he'd only been with us for 5 years and already had 2 Super Bowls? We'd all be in nirvana. We'd be ecstatic, floating on air. Cloud 9. Okay, all of us would. So, but I would say this to you, Tommy. You should be excited about the fact that you have a young quarterback. You did what every franchise is trying to do right now. They're trying to find a guy that right when they bring him in from college, they can get him started pretty early and just cross their fingers and pray that he pans out and then get him for 4 years on the cheap. Now, your guy, your quarterback for the Eagles just earned a huge paycheck. Are the Eagles going to want to pay him, though? I would say yes, because he's proven to be the truth. But oftentimes, you don't know for sure, and now you have to pay the guy because you have him, which is what happened with the Dallas Cowboys. You had Dak Prescott. He played really great. He had one of the greatest starts of a rookie career ever. I think he went like 11-0 to start his rookie career, or something like that, some crazy number like that. And so then when the offseason came and they had to give him the bag, Jerry Jones resisted. And then Dak had another good season. And then Jerry Jones said, I'm overpaying you, but I'm just going to do it. And he was right. We all know now, looking back, he was right. He overpaid the guy because Dak Prescott's a backup quarterback at best. Glenn Medina said, do you think they'll move on from Waller? I do think they'll do that, Glenn. I think that they'll use him as a trade piece to either get more pieces or use him to get Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay. Justin King, even though you may say that, I think that's incorrect. Stidham looked good against the Niners. In the following game, I didn't think he looked as good. Now, that has to do with the talent you were playing as well, but at the same time, I don't also think Stidham is sturdy enough. When I look at Stidham, I see a skinny wide receiver playing quarterback. And I'm sorry. I'm big on build. You have to be sturdy. Derek Carr, let's be honest, for all his flaws, was sturdy. The guy looked like a fire plug. Okay, biceps, shoulders, chest, butt, legs, he had it all. And Russell Wilson, same thing, built like a tank from the neck down. You got to have that kind of quarterback. If you don't, they're brittle, they'll get hurt, and it does you no good. Lamar Jackson, for example, whoever ends up with Lamar Jackson, be it the Ravens or someone else, he's an injury waiting to happen. I think he's an injury waiting to happen because of his running. He's amazing, but I think you may have gotten the best out of him already and his youth, and now you start bringing him somewhere else, and he starts running all over the field again. He's going to get socked sooner or later. See RG3 for my argument. Bob Standard, Furl's going to be cut for the same reason Carr is going to be cut, or Carr was cut, because the story is out on Furl. So no team is going to take a chance at trading for him or giving the Raiders anything for him when they know that he can just fall into free agency. But unlike Derek Carr, you don't have to give a king's ransom to get Furl. So Furl's just going to take whichever offer he thinks appeals to him most. Matt Marinovich, honestly, I don't know how to feel about any of this. I mean, this whole changing up of the offense, letting Carr go, and then now expecting someone with less experience than Carr to come in and run that same offense just seems risky to me. You know what I mean? It just seems risky. I realize it was a lot of money. You couldn't pay Derek Carr and still make changes, at $40 million. But, you can't do that if you're bringing Aaron Rodgers. Our defense isn't better yet. And we get so excited about the shiny toy that is Aaron Rodgers. But if we pay to get the shiny toy, we're not going to be able to improve our defense significantly enough to help him win. Now, you go into the draft, you get Skoronski. Now you can protect Aaron Rodgers. He probably gets off a lot of throws, and we have a great offense. And thus, our defense gets better because it's playing against a team that's always playing uphill, trying to catch up from behind, because we got touchdowns raining through the air with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. If you were somehow able to do that, make an offense that overwhelms their defense, now when they come out on offense themselves, they have to throw the ball, they have to give up on their running game, and they have to change their attack. Anytime you make an opponent change how they want to play in the middle of a game, you're winning. You're automatically winning. It doesn't matter if it's chess, National League Football, Tiddlywinks, Monopoly, Major League Baseball. If one coach can make the other coach one coach can force his opponent coach into playing in a way he doesn't want to, you're on your way to victory, because you're asking that coach to try to win in a way he's not comfortable with. I've always argued if a team has a Michael Jordan, then you triple team that Michael Jordan and you make his teammates make baskets. I don't care if they'll be wide open. Make them make baskets. There's a reason why they're backups. There's a reason why Michael gets all the shots. Make them prove they can be better. That's what I always did as a coach. I always attacked my opponent coach's best player. I used to coach youth basketball. And whenever I identified whoever the other team's best player was, I would call my players over and say, okay, we're going to start running our pit bull defense. I want you to get ready. When I tell you to, and I give you I would go like this to him. When I give you that X symbol, I want everyone to rotate to that guy. When he gets the ball, I want 2 people in his face on every play. And we started beating teams that hadn't taken losses because we did that. I know that Carr is gone, but if he goes to the Jets and takes them to the playoffs because all they were missing was a quarterback, they have a good defense, they have awesome weapons. How dumb does that make our organization look? Santino Carranco, it doesn't make our organization look dumb. Every team has to move on from players. And there was no indication that Carr was going to do anything else any better with us. So you had to move on because you're not going to give him that big bonus because Josh McDaniels doesn't want to work with the guy. And because Mark Davis gave him the 1 year out, he took it. And that's it. Okay, now move forward. Does Carr go to the Jets and have this great career? No. What you guys have to remember is this is all hype. All of this is hype. Derek Carr is not going to go to another team and just go running into the playoffs in the Super Bowl. Why didn't he do it with us? Oh, the defense and this, that, and the other. Those are excuses. And he'll have excuses on whatever other team he gets on when he doesn't win consistently. I'm not hating on Derek Carr. I think he was a good player. I appreciated everything he contributed to the Raiders. But he's not going to win on the next level with this next team, whoever it may be. Let's say it's the Jets. Is he going to play well suddenly in cold weather? And if he does, is he going to do it consistently? And if he does, is he going to keep from getting injured in that cold weather? Because it's a whole lot harder to keep those injuries from getting there when you're on that really hard, covered in ice field and you're getting slapped down on it over and over again. Is Derek Carr going to survive that? He's not a kid anymore. You know what I mean? I don't even think he's going to go to the Jets for that very reason. But bottom line is, I don't think he would do well for them if he did. I think he's going to go to Washington. I think the fact that that offensive coordinator for the Chiefs went over to Washington, I think that's going to draw Derek Carr toward Washington. Glenn Medina, our best options at quarterback aren't good right now. If you just look in free agency, there's only guys like Ryan Tannehill, that guy David Hill that played for the Texans. He was actually all right. I kind of liked him. And they're all guys that basically remind you of Jarrett Stidham. You know what I mean? So you might as well stay with Jarrett Stidham if you can't get Aaron Rodgers. Save the cash and go after a really big haul in the draft and in free agency for defensive players. For example, the Jalen Ramsey name keeps getting thrown around. They want to, well, not, I shouldn't say want to, but the rumor is that the Raiders would bring in Jalen Ramsey to replace Rock Ya-Sin, and then you bring in an aggressive cornerback in the draft, and now you'd have a shutdown corner tandem. That would be interesting. Jose Tariquez, I don't know if there's big names coming to the defense, but I think they may be in the draft. I think we may make a move for someone in the draft that surprises people on the defensive side of the ball. There, Jim Vanderlyn. Now Tommy will see it. Tommy, read this comment I have on the screen. Carr to the Commanders to play under Bieniemy. Yeah, Mario Cantara, I could see that happening. I really could. Glenn Medina, I like the conversion that they made with Ryan Tannehill. And not to mention, no matter what veteran quarterbacks I bring up to bring in to be there halfway through the season for whatever backup quarterback for whatever young quarterback we may bring in the draft, no matter who that is, it doesn't matter because we would only need them for like half a year, maybe a year tops. I would say a Jacoby Brissett. That's another one. You know what I mean? Glenn Medina, I do think we keep Hobbs, but when I said what I said about the corners, Glenn, that doesn't threaten Hobbs' job. Hobbs is a nickel corner and a really good one, and proved to be a really good one during last season. Now, we only had him on outside corner because we needed help on outside corner. But the truth is, and those of you who watch my show religiously will remember this, the only thing about Nate Hobbs that I said I didn't like, and by the way, I predicted we would pick him. I predicted him as a player. And when I saw his video, I predicted he'd be a star, and he's been all of the above, and I was right on all of it. But more importantly, Nate Hobbs, I said, was not an outside on an island, cover corner, covering the other team's best wide receiver. That's not what he does. And so when we asked him to do it, he actually looked better than I thought he would. He's improving. But in college, he struggled with that. He's not good being one-on-one on an island with a 6'3", 6'5", speedy wide receiver making cuts and moves and then doing a jump ball against him. He's not good against that. Now, he proved to be not bad at the NFL level, but in college, he struggled with it. He seems like he's improved a little bit, but I still don't like the idea of him being on an island. I'm wondering why there's been no talk about Carr and the Colts. Jim Vanlin, there's no talk about Carr and the Colts because they don't want to go to an older quarterback. They want to go to a younger quarterback because they think that they have a team that's building. They're not looking to run right to a Super Bowl right now. Of course, they'd like to win one, but the Colts are trying to do it the old-fashioned way, go real young, and then hopefully all those young guys come up and make a dynasty run. And so, yes, Glenn Medina will absolutely keep Hobbs. If Rodgers, for some reason, doesn't show up, bring back Stiddy and get Jacoby Brissett and have them battle it out for the quarterback one spot. I completely agree with every word of that. Tommy is smiling ear to ear. Well, that's my guy right there. Come on, Val. Vincent Rubalcaba. Hey, Bear, sound is much better. My apologies, got on late and just want to say thank you for everything you do. Baba Bow. Okay, where is Lynn Bowden Jr.? Thought he was a NFL talent. No, he got into a lot of trouble off field, Glenn. And then once we moved him to the Miami Dolphins, he got into even more trouble. And so now, from what I understand, he's not in the NFL trying to make adjustments. I think his last place he ended up was the Commanders in Washington. Don't hold me to that. You should Google it. But I think he went to Washington last. So we drafted him. Then he went to the Dolphins. He had more legal problems with the Dolphins, new charges with the Dolphins. And then I think they moved on from him to Washington. But don't hold me to that. I think it's Washington, though. Nate Hobbs is the best slot corner in the NFL. Dennis Moyer, I completely agree with that. Welcome to the show. Great profile pic of you and your boys. Glenn Medina, need younger quarterback, go youth from top to bottom. Glenn, honestly, it's hard to argue with that. When you consider what we've already done, why not do that? Why not just go all the way in on, hey, you know what? We don't have it. So if we don't have it and we're going to rebuild the team, let's just rebuild the team. You know what I mean? But we'll see. All right, guys, that's my show. That's about my time. I ran a little bit long because it's Friday night, and I really appreciated this audience that I had with me. Please subscribe to Raider Bear Family page. Please like and follow me on YouTube. I want to get those numbers up. So please like and follow me on YouTube. Please subscribe on Raider Bear Family page on Facebook. And look for me next week. I will be bringing auctions back, helping the homeless, working with St. Jude's, the Kind Fund, Kids in Name of Desks. Kids in Need of Desks, also with Modesto Food Bank and Modesto Outreach Programs, plus autism, Punks for Autism. I couldn't remember all of them. Plus PFA, Punks for Autism. Near and dear to my heart because my daughter is a autism conqueror, as I like to say, autism survivor, autism butt kicker. And so that was near and dear to my heart. So look for me next week. We're going to go back to auctioning off. I will give information on when we're going to have our auction nights. We're going to do it custom strictly for Facebook and for my subscribers, and it should be a lot of fun. I'm going to have new medallions, new patches, and all kinds of good stuff. Shirts, you name it. We're going to have fun Raider stuff ready to go. And I mean fun Raider stuff. I've got beanies, I've got chairs, I've got art stuff. I've got all kinds of cool stuff. So we'll talk next week. I really appreciate everyone that checked in. Please like and follow on Raider Bear Family page. Please like and follow. And I'm still doing that. Oh, man. Anyway, much love, peace, and I hope all of you have a good, safe rest of your weekend. Raider Bear family page. Peace.